often will ask me, what about your sanity? How did you keep your sanity? And sanity was basically irrelevant in that situation. It's an insane situation, just like what's going on in the parts of the world now that we're focused on. Sanity has nothing to do with the situation. It's really your humanity that you need to hang on to in those situations, because you can become so focused on the negative, which is your whole life is full of negative at that point in time. I mean, even your survival, that you can sometimes lose track of not only your humanity, but other people's as well. And so I want to tell you a little story about kind of how I hung on to my humanity in that situation. In about the third year of my death sentence, I found a seed that I used to be served last. My food would be brought to me on a tray, and it'd always be cold. You know, that was part of the punishment. Whatever could be done, even in little ways, they did. I could tell there had been tomatoes in the salad because I found a seed. And so I kept that seed. And then on one of my 4 hours a week that I had gained through the courts outside, I asked the guard if I could just collect a little earth in a little medicine cup that I had reserved. And what could it hurt? So she let me. And I planted the seed. And it grew, as seeds do. And I had a little tomato plant. And then the same nice guard was on, because they were under instructions not to speak to me. So, but there was, you know, there's the same, there are 10% that are really nice and 10% that are really awful, and then there's everybody in between. So this woman was kind of nice, and I said, well, would it be okay if we took this little plant and planted it out behind the building there where I can see it from my window? What harm? And she said, okay. So we planted the seed, and it grew, and it grew, and a little seedling grew until it was a tomato plant. And then it got flowers, and then it got fruit. And I asked, could we just take one of the fruits in? And what harm? So she let me. And now I had a garden of seeds, because in that one tomato was a whole garden. Anyway, I had a little garden, and they were like my children. These tomatoes were, the first batch were like my children. And that's how I truly felt about those plants and those fruits. And then, after I got the seeds from those, I had my grandchildren. And so on. One day, I looked outside to admire my beautiful garden, and there was another prisoner there, an older woman. Her name was Miss Duncan. And she was pulling up my plants, because she'd asked permission to have plants too, which they should have given her. And of course they said no. So she went back there one day and started pulling my plants. And every once in a while she'd look over her shoulder up at my window. I didn't think she could see me because of all the bars and stuff, but I think she could feel me. I was furious. I was screaming. Of course she couldn't hear me. And I won't even tell you what I was screaming. And one by one she pulled up my plants, and there was nothing I could do but rage. And that was, of course, the end of the gardening, because it started the problem. Well, years later, I was released. Miss Duncan passed away in prison. She never died. And I felt sorry for her. It was sad. She was an old, unhappy, miserable lady, and she died in prison. And I felt bad for her. And I thought, that was so good, because I didn't hate her. I didn't hate her anymore. she was sad. And I thought that was so important, that because when I saw that, I definitely lost my humanity. I was furious. And yet, in the end, I was able to see her as a sad and miserable person who died in prison with nothing. So I think it's important to be able to do that, to be able to get past the negative parts and the anger, which we rightly feel. We're entitled to feel that. But after a while, it doesn't serve, and there's no solution in it. So unless we can, in the end, acknowledge each other's humanity and try to find some way to find a positive solution that satisfies everyone, then I think we're just stuck in a negative cycle that has no end. But at the end of the day, it's also important to say to yourself, have I done everything I can do today? And if the answer is yes, then it's time to plant your garden and to sow the seeds of hope and of healing and of renewal in your own life, in your own inner garden, and then share that with your children and your friends, because the next generation is going to be the one that really. So I just thought I would sing you a little song, and then it goes, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Every day, no matter where you are. Namaste. Thank you.
That is what I love to see.
Shall I say goodbye now? Shall I go nuts?
I'll write, I'll drop you a line, I'll toast you from time to time. All I'm asking, give me a sign. Let me know that you'll be fine. Farewell to you. We'll be together soon, and I know that I might be, and you be the one they label the fool. But if they love you, they'll bend their